That was a poor first half from England, as we've seen in tournament football over the last few iterations.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think my frustration as a fan sitting here or standing up here looking over is that there's been no learnings from this team. We spoke in the build-up and we got away with it in that opening 20 minutes. And Ellen, you played in that back in 2022. We got away with that 20-minute phase that they had because they weren't clinical. They were the opposite today. They were absolutely clinical in that final third, and they did exactly what we said they would do, down this right-hand side, and they've absolutely punished us, and they've been more ruthless. They've been at the races from the off. The warm-up we saw before, they were at the races in the warm-up. They were ready and prepared. This England team wasn't ready for this game.
You two were looking at the warm-up, and you were slightly worried at the pace even of which England were warming up compared to the Swedes, and that intensity transferred the minute the whistle went.
100%. I feel like Sweden's intensity is tenfold to what England are showing tonight. And we said that at the start of the show, the physicality, they want the intensity, they want the transition. They're smothering England. They can't get a foothold on the ball. England want to build, they want rhythm. But as Jonas said, you know, Sweden, they like the transition, don't they?
Yeah, and that's where they created all their chances. And England now has to break down a really low block, and that's obviously always tough to do. I think I praised Serena Wiegman before the game to saying what a good problem solver she is and has been. This is probably her toughest problem to solve.
She's got 15 minutes to solve this problem. Let's go right back though, because the early warning signs were there within 60 seconds.
Yeah, they were. We said they're really strong down their right-hand side, but you see this comes from the left-hand side. They've got bodies over one side, and they're trying to trap England into this press here. England actually look as if they get out. Lucy Bronze feints a pass, it goes out to Jess. But even here, look at the press on Jess. She's suffocated by them, and then gives the possession away in our final third. Another one, Jess Carter travelling out with the ball. Looks like Kira Walsh is in space. Actually, you're leaving in an area where actually she can get pressed. And again, the transition happens, and this is where the goal comes from. It's a clinical finish from Asllani, but an area that we shouldn't have allowed Sweden to get into if we'd done our research properly. If we looked and analysed this Sweden team and look at their strengths down the right-hand side, we wouldn't have put ourselves into the trap that we did in order to concede this goal.
They're just so smart, and I feel like their consistency, they're winning games, they're unbeaten. I just feel like they're just so on top of England. They're football smart, their game plan's working, and like Farah said, they're smothering England's left-hand side, and they're just over the top, attack, intensity, physicality, and what a wonderful finish from Asllani as well for that first goal.
Yeah, and she starts everything with the way she presses, right? She works so relentlessly between Kira Walsh and Jess Carter to try to cover two players. I do think this is going to be the second half, though, being that England will need to take more and more risks the longer it takes, and obviously what Sweden will hope for is to get these counter-attacks from them.
And then there was another press on Hampton, and it was Williams who had to come to the rescue.
Absolutely, this was an unbelievable block from Leah Williamson, a big touch from Hannah Hampton, but the way she obviously got around and blocked the ball, and we were thinking, God, this is really kind of backs against the wall for England, and it's just a heavy touch. And that happens, but now it's about how do you resolve, how do you stand up, how do you be counted? And the captain in this moment stood up tall and at that point kept it at 1-0.
And at 1-0 you're thinking that could be a game-changing moment, because then the belief in this team could rise, and then maybe the energy levels would also rise. But still Sweden were relentless, weren't they? And all the areas you pointed to that could be danger zones for England proved to be, and it was that right-hand side the second goal came from.
Yeah, and it actually came from our own possession. You'll just see it here. Hemp picks up the ball and drives inside and actually is trapped again. Look at the numbers Sweden have on this right-hand side around the ball. England, you would say, are they secure? Blackstenius, you would think that Jess Carter and Leah Williamson have an eye on her. They don't. She splits them with her run and gets between them. And then she's just too powerful here for Jess Carter. She gets away from her, she uses her speed. But this run shouldn't be allowed. We gave Jess Carter credit, you know, coming into the game in terms of her positioning. She just gets the wrong side. Leah Williamson, in my opinion, has to do more, Jonas, because she runs blind side of Jess Carter, doesn't give Jess Carter a chance, and Jess Carter tries to recover it.
I mean, they're 2v1.
Yeah.
They're 2v1, but Leah drops off, and this is a bit when the partnership and you don't have that many minutes together, maybe this is where you suffer.
I did say to you, didn't I? I looked across and said this is kind of a game where those big characters stood up when their backs were against the wall in the quarterfinal against Spain, the likes of Millie Brighton. Is there a lack of experience out there tonight that is really telling against a team, as we pointed out, who are 200 caps better off than England tonight?
I don't know if it's a lack of experience. I think it's just know-how and just we're not executing a game plan that's working. I think, like I've said before, just Sweden just seem like they're smothering us, the intensity, the physicality, and we're not able to build and play the game that we normally are. We keep going long, which is nothing what we normally do. We want to play football, but obviously the way that Sweden are pressing, England just want to get rid of the ball, but we don't have bodies up helping Alessia Russo at the top of the pitch, which is frustrating to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, we speak about the quarterfinal 2022 against Spain. England were losing. They changed then to have an alternative formation where Millie Bright went up to play as a centre forward and they went more direct there. The question is, does England have that tool on the bench today where they can change this here? Potentially not in a central defender. Maybe they can do it with a player like Ageman. She's a very strong player.
There was a moment, and it was actually just before the second goal when Hemp had a shot off the bar where you're thinking, OK, it just takes something like this, a speculative shot somewhere, an attacking play can actually reap the rewards and the game can change for England.
Yeah, exactly. You needed that spark. You needed someone to make that difference. You needed something just to happen, whether it was a Lauren Hemp, a Lauren James, Alessia Russo. And it was just frustrating that obviously lovely save by Falk there. But I just feel like we just needed something to then put us on our way. And unfortunately, it wasn't that moment.
There was a moment that could be a moment that England look back on and go, well, if this had gone in 3-0, you would be thinking game over. 2-0, there will be belief still in there. And right at the end of that half, Hampton had to make a save, Farah.
But it's the same again. It's down this right-hand side, as you said. Here, for me, the positioning of our defenders, you can see there's the back four there. We're in a box here defending. Rolfer running at them. Lucy Bronze needs to get a little bit tighter. Could have read the danger. That's actually the wide player that's all the way in field. So it's not a second centre forward. It's your left midfielder, which is Lucy Bronze's player, that has come right across the pitch. You should be more aware that there's nobody on your back shoulder.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes back again to be like they're 3v2 in defence. They could be aggressive here. And Rolfer is so left-footed. Why on earth not go up and put pressure on her left foot? It's those details that are lacking at the moment, I think, in England's defence. And I think if they want to commit more players forward, they need to be much more braver and aggressive in the way they play defences as well. They're far too passive here now.
Well, that performance from Sweden really does put them with 1 foot in the semi-finals after that convincing first half. The scoreline is 2-0 with 45 minutes at least of football to be played. So our focus remains the football here in Switzerland. England through after penalties. 7 penalties taken, only 3 in the end hit the back of the net for England, but it turned out to be enough. In many ways, it was a terrible penalty shootout, but it was a remarkable and brilliant one for England with, as you said, Farah Williams, so many players stepping up and such bravery at the end, because of course players off the pitch who might have taken a penalty, some who'd come on and perhaps not had the game that they wanted, but Sweden somehow conspired to throw that all away as well, Jonas.
Yeah, it felt like Sweden had a lot of match points in this game. They had a first half that maybe they could have put away with a third goal at the end of that half, and then in the penalty shootout, I think there was 3 opportunities. They had to score the final penalty.
Let's look at what will be going down as the winning penalty. Your old teammate, Lucy Bronze.
I think for Lucy, after seeing the penalties that went before, it was just about putting your foot through it and smashing it through the back of the net.
And you predicted she'd take it like that.
And I knew she would, because you'd seen the penalties so soft before the penalties she took. And it was a case of I'm putting everything through it. And then the keeper's got no chance, and that's exactly, and you saw it there.
But it was Grace Clinton, I think, wasn't it, before that? And it was.
Yeah, it was soft. They were soft penalties, and this is a not so good penalty for a young player here. And I mean, she'll have many more tournaments in there, but yeah, a disappointing penalty for her.
Yeah, I think I said that before the penalty shootout. There was going to be young players that was going to be put on the spot. We saw that for England. We saw that here for Sweden. It's tough moments. I mean, I've obviously coached players in both teams. I can feel the happiness for those that win. I can feel the pain for these losing here. It's the toughest possible way to go out.
Hannah Hampton's first major tournament as England keeper, and she faces a penalty shootout, and she's with Joe Curry right now.
Well, Hannah, what a comeback into the semi-finals. Where are your emotions at right now?
Right now, I don't know. I don't know. It just all's gone so quick, like that last little bit in the penalty shootout. But no, we're very happy. Obviously, you can see all the celebrations going around, cheering with the fans, and they were behind us the whole game. Even when we were 2-0 down, they knew that we could bring this back, and you don't ever write us off.
To watch, that was possibly one of the most stressful penalty shootouts this team has ever put us through. You were sensational. What was it like to play in?
Stressful, like you said, stressful watching, stressful playing, and I just thought every single time I saved one, I was thinking, please just put it in so we have a bit of a cushion, and their keeper just went and saved the next one. I was thinking, oh goodness, here we go. But you know, I think, to be honest, I think I was better in the game when I had one nostril than when I was completely fine. But no, just happy and relieved now.
I was going to ask, you had your big moment with what looked like a tampon up your nose. How is your nose?
It's fine, to be fair. Me and nosebleeds never go well. Me and the doctor have had some great history in the past with having to go to hospitals and stuff. So as soon as he came over and looked at my nosebleed, he was thinking, not again. But yeah, I'm better with one nostril now.
Well, it certainly worked for you. Just take a minute to take this all in, because could you feel the love from the England crowd tonight, you personally?
Yeah, I could tonight, especially in that shootout. They were cheering non-stop, and it just helps you. It helps you get that little bit of an edge over them and push you on, and I don't know, stretch a little extra for each dive and put a lot more power in. But no, they were definitely behind me, and I really appreciated all the support.
Hannah, you were fantastic the entire game. Well done. Go and enjoy this moment. You've earned it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, this is such an experience for a young goalkeeper, relative in international terms, Ellen.
Yeah, definitely. I've known Hannah since she was 16 years old at Birmingham, and to see her development and growth, and now into England's #1, saving penalties in quarterfinals of Euro tournaments. I feel very proud for her, and you know, she had a big role in this Euros with Mary Earps retiring, for her to step up and to take that #1 role and to show her quality tonight after she made a few mistakes in the game, but she still had that mentality to come back in that shootout and really help England overcome Sweden.
And Stenu stopped running
Yeah.
in the second half as well. I think she got tired. Aslani looked like she was injured when she was coming off. I think that was a big change and loss for Sweden to have to take her off early. That shifted the momentum in England's favour together with their subs.
Some big in-match saves from Hannah Hampton that came at moments. There was one, and I'm not sure we're going to see that first, the one that came when it was 2-0 in the first half, and it could have been so easily 3-0 just before half-time. Here we go, this is the one. And you look back and think, how big was that moment, Ellen?
Yeah, it's a huge moment for her. She made herself big, a huge stretch to her left-hand side to push that past the post, and yeah, she definitely kept England in the game. And again, you know, it's poor defending here from England. It's great running from Blackstenius, and again, she stood tall. She's made Blackstenius make a decision. I think if she just rolls it past her, it's a goal. But I think you've got to give credit to her, standing up, being tall, and she's kept it at 2-0 and given England a chance to get back in the game.
I was going to say, I think that's actually a bigger moment than the one in the first half, because this was early in the second half, and it was, how is this England team going to react?
Before the substitutions have been made.
So it was like, how are they going to react? And then we had that quite early on. It was a huge save.
Let's pick up with Lucy Bronze, because it wasn't just the penalty, of course, it was the header which kind of took England forward, and the belief increasing, and that all came from the incredible Chloe Kelly.
Yeah, we did. We made some good changes. Serena, we was waiting for them, and then they happened all at once. And it comes down, it's just a clearance from Sweden. They don't quite get out to the ball. They look like they're just happy to defend the box like they've done for this opening, 75 minutes. And you just see here the ball's coming in, and then it's just a little combination. It's just set back into Chloe Kelly, and you can see her here just holding out. And these types of deliveries that are driven in, and Lucy done this and threatened this all game. Late runs into the box, didn't get the service for it, but she got it in the end, and it's a fantastic header, and it really did set us on our way, and momentum really did shift after this moment.
I think as well you've got to credit Michelle Adjiman when she came on as well, being such a nuisance, so physical and putting herself up against Bjorn, Eriksson, and I feel like they were really threatening that box and really put them under a lot of pressure and strain and chaos caused, which obviously caused her to then go on and score that second goal as well.
Let's have a little look at it, shall we? Because it's got you very excited.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it's coming again down this left-hand side with Alex Greenwood and the combination with a little spin from Chloe Kelly, and she cuts back and puts a ball into the box, and there's a bit of a melee there with Beth Mead kind of challenging, but then she's on her toes, Adjiman. She's ready, she's raring to go, she's fresh, and she just taps it into the back of the net. And she's got 3 caps and 2 goals for England. She's a phenomenal talent, and she just changed, I think, the momentum for England when she came on.
I feel like Russo was very isolated. I actually felt sorry in moments in that game for Russo, the amount of tireless runs she was making, channels trying to bring players into the game. We didn't have anybody close to her, and that really didn't help us get out. I think with Adjiman coming in and being a little bit closer to Russo, anything, a scruffy clearance, for example, that got near her, you had Adjiman around her. In that first 75, 80 minutes, we didn't have that with Russo.
We said pre-match how Serena doesn't like to tinker too much, and when she thinks she's got a winning formula, she sticks with it. Was she giving her something to think about tonight, going forwards for Italy, Adjiman?
As a plan B, definitely, I think. I think Serena's probably going to go away from this game and thinking more about how her back four is looking. That's my take. And that's both with players coming off with injuries, but also performances that I don't think Serena was happy with. But what it showed England here is that they have great depth, we know that, but now they are active, these players as well. They're full of confidence.
They've now played a big part in this
They
tournament.
have the finishers. They have players that can come in and do the job, and I think that's really important.
Well, one of those players who went down injured and was injured for quite a while. We can talk about why there hasn't been enough extra time given, actually, at the end of both normal time and when Leah Williamson went down, there was a long time on the ground there. It looked very, very serious. She got up, she ran, she took part in the game for a little bit longer. So it looks like everything's okay, but we'll find out a bit more because the captain is with Joe Curry.
Well, Leah, huge congratulations. I think that smile probably says it all. Do you even know how you're feeling right now?
I just feel really, really proud. That was awful to watch at the end. But the girls, I just love that we don't ever give up. And we've said it before, we're never done. We don't believe that we're ever done. And the fight back, the quality to turn the game around and then stay in it mentally, just incredible.
No one ever really wants to go to penalties. How much practice have you done with spot kicks in the lead up to this?
Loads, and I know obviously there was a few more misses than normal, but everybody does. It's something that you have to box off before a tournament. There's so much science behind it nowadays. We know it. It's just, it's the easiest and the hardest thing in the world.
The game changes once again made a real difference tonight. Is that a sign of just how together this squad is?
I just think that's what I'm most proud of, that you hope that you create an environment where everybody's ready and everybody feels valued enough that when it's their time, they can step up and do their job. And I think that's what you just saw. Honestly, everybody covered so much ground, did work for themselves. They did their job and they could help out each other as well. I'm so proud of them.
No team has ever come back from 2-0 down in the knockout stages of the Women's Euros. Does this give you the belief now that you can go on and do anything?
Yeah. I said we've played 3 finals in a row now, basically, in terms of if you lose, you're going home. And we have the belief, we have the proof. It's just about, turning up and doing the job. So I'm a happy girl today.
I bet you are. Just finally, a few knocks at the end, including you and your ankle. How is it?
Yeah, that's not, it wasn't about me, and it's required. A game like that requires you to be at 100%, and nobody can put a foot wrong. And so I just, it wasn't the time to stay on the pitch, but I don't know.
And it all started, of course, with those substitutions. That's when the comeback was on. That's when Chloe Kelly was on the pitch. Let's hear from her now.
Chloe, it was stressful, it was exciting, but you're into the semi-finals. How do you even begin to sum that up?
Yeah, tell me about it. We were just as stressed as the fans, I think. We knew that we had to bounce back. We wasn't at our best in the first half, but we knew that we were capable of doing so, and we showed that the girls coming onto the pitch did their job and they executed it really well. And I think that just shows the whole squad of 23. When you're needed, you take your moment, and that's exactly what the girls did tonight.
When you came onto the pitch off the bench, England were 2-0 down. There wasn't that long to play. How much pressure were you under? Because you then went on to create those 2 goals in normal time.
Yeah, I didn't feel under pressure. I just wanted to go and create some goals for the girls and be at my best, and that's what I tried to do, and hopefully everyone could see that. But yeah, I just tried to put the ball in the box and play to my strengths.
How hard was it as a team to keep your heads up tonight? Because there were long periods of that game where England looked like they were struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's times against a top team like Sweden, there's going to be at times where you are struggling a little bit. I think that's football, and especially when you play against top sides like Sweden. But it's about sticking together in those moments. Even in extra time, there's moments where we felt uncomfortable, but it's riding the storm together and knowing that we've got resilient players in our team and we can bounce back from anything, and we showed that tonight.
As a group, what did you say to yourselves going into that penalty shootout?
I think we have belief. We worked hard on the training pitch, even in the penalties. So I think it's belief in there. We had the experience of playing in a penalty shootout in the World Cup in 23. So we've experienced that in tournament football. And yeah, I think there's a lot of belief within us. So it didn't go as planned, but we got the job done.
You certainly did. You're into the semi-finals. Well done.
Thank you very much. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. And Chloe Kelly has become the top player tonight on the player ratings. This is by those watching, of course, who've rated the fans watching. Agree with that?
I mean, I would give it to Russo. I think the work she gave throughout, as I said, with limited support in that final third area. But look, of course, Chloe Kelly has impacted the game massively.
Another person who's been through a range of emotions tonight, you'd imagine, Jonas, as a fellow manager, would be Serena Wiegman. Let's hear from her now with Joe.
Well, Serena, you just said to me that you feel 90 years old. I think we can all resonate why, but emotionally, how was that watching on from the sideline for you?
Hard. One of the hardest games I've ever watched. Very emotional. We could have been out 4 or 5 times during the game. Of course, when you're 2-0 down at halftime, it's not good. Although we started really bad on the game, and then at the end of the first half we got better in the game, and the second half we did better, but we didn't create anything, so we had to change shape. And then of course, we scored 2 goals, and so that was crazy already. Then we go into extra time. Some players injured, some cramp, Hannah, Blotten all over the place, and then we go into penalty shootouts, and then we miss a lot, but they miss even more, and then we're through.
Are you okay?
I need to decompress, I think.
When you were heading into extra time, you have players coming off left, right and centre with injuries, but at what point did you have to start thinking about who would be on the pitch to take the penalties?
Well, we already prepared that before the game. So what would be the options? And we have trained, and we know the players' preferences. But then when the game is finished, of course, you have to know who's on the pitch and who is still confident to take one. So that went really quick because we do it together with the technical staff, and so I think that was the easiest job today.
How brave was it to put someone like Michelle Adjemang on at that point in the match with so much riding on it?
Well, this is basically why we selected her. We know Michelle hasn't been in our environment for a long period of time, but as the moment she came in, she did really well, and she brings something different. And she showed that in training. She has showed that against Belgium. She showed that against France. And she's so strong, and then she scores a goal too. So, of course, she just has shown that she can do that.
And a word on Hannah Hampton. She was fantastic tonight. She's had her doubters. Has she silenced those doubters now?
Well, she didn't have doubters in our bubble. So I think she had a very impressive performance. Really well. She had some very good saves in the second half. That one save was really important. And she had one penalty on the right side. That was an incredible save. So. Pretty big contribution today.
I think she's probably going to wake up a national hero tomorrow morning. But look, you're into the semi-finals. You know you're going to be playing Italy. Can you even start to get your head around that yet?
No, not yet. At the moment, I'm just thinking how this team turned this around again. How this team showed resilience and just keep going. And sometimes we say we're never done. Well, tonight we showed we're absolutely never done.
Small glass of wine tonight?
Yeah, that's almost in the morning. Yeah, a glass of something nice. I think so. Just one, because we need to get prepared for Italy then.
You've earned it. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You don't often see Serena Wiegman that candid, do you, mid-tournament? She's really worn her emotions a little bit larger there.
I think, from the start of the tournament, I think, behaviour on the sideline has been completely different to what we've been used to, that calm presence on the side. I mean, the opening game against France, there were some decisions going against this team, and you could see her a little bit irate. And I love that side of management. I think, especially when the opposition see it, it can get, under their skin a little bit. Jonas, you was a bit like that. Stood on the sideline with every emotion. And I love that from a manager. You want to play for those type of managers that show that emotion.
OK, well, we've talked about her a lot. She was so important in the beginning of England's comeback in that second half. And then, of course, in closing it all down and scoring that winning penalty for them. Lucy Bronze is with Joe Curry.
Lucy, have you found the words yet to sum up what on earth just happened out on that pitch?
I think just a roller coaster, both overwhelming, underwhelming at the same time. Yeah, just a crazy game as an England player, and I can imagine the fans watching as well. I saw my brother right at the end. I think he was so excited, and I think when I see him like that, I think I know that we probably put him through it. I'm surprised he probably didn't faint during the game.
I think you've put the whole nation through it, if I'm honest, but to be 2-0 down at that point in the game, you pulled that goal back. We saw what it meant to you, but how hard was it for the team to just keep going in those difficult moments?
Yeah, I mean, holding the team together in the first half was difficult. I think Sweden pushed on, and actually I think Rolf and Ellie got another goal. There was a few good chances they had, which they maybe could have put the game to bed. Lucky for us, we kept them out. Hannah did a couple of good saves, and then I think once we made our substitutes, that was when the momentum really came with us. We got our 2 goals as soon as those substitutes came on, and just changed the dynamic of the game.
You gave the advertising board a real kick when you scored. Was that to get the crowd going? Frustration? How was your foot?
My foot's fine. I'm made of tough stuff. I think it was just frustration. I think, Hempo just missed a header not long before that. It was just frustration of how we actually going to get the ball in the back of the net. And when I seen it there, I just was like, seeing it go in, and I ran into the board, just was a lot of emotion just came out in that 1 second.
When it came down to penalties, I don't think there was ever any doubt that you'd be one of those players taking a spot kick. Did you always know where you were going to put it and what you were doing with it?
I actually hurt my leg a little bit in the game, which is why I had to take the tape off. So I kind of changed my mind. That's why I took it off, because I thought, I'm not sure if I'm going to hurt myself doing something different. And I watched the goalkeeper in every single penalty, and she dived quite early. And statistically, in penalty shootouts, it's risky for the goalkeeper to stand still and go down the middle. Penalty shootouts as well, statistically, you're more likely to win if you go first. Winning the coin toss obviously was played into that. So I love maths.
Trust you to know the stats on that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been around long enough. I have to know the ins and outs of all the game, even stand a little bit in front and things like that, celebrating each goal, giving confidence to my team. Just all those little things can make a difference, and I don't know if it did or didn't tonight, but for me it felt like it did.
Italy up next. I don't know if you've really got your head around that yet, but England must fancy their chances against a team that are ranked so much lower than them.
I mean, obviously on paper they're ranked lower than us, but I think for them it's like they've got everything to win in that game. Considering I think it's their first ever Euro semi-final. You saw how much it meant to them yesterday getting through. I thought they played really well, even against Spain. I thought they did quite well, although the scoreline probably doesn't look like it. And Spain are a top team, so I've watched them throughout the tournament. I think they deserve to be in the semi-final. Don't think we take anything for granted after this game tonight, so we have to be at our best if we want to get to the final.
Well, look, you've delayed the 10 o'clock news long enough now, but go and enjoy the celebrations. We'll see you in Geneva.
See you there.
A real student of the game, and that study paid off tonight when it came to those penalties. This is how the route to the final is shaping up. We now know who will play in the first semi-final in Geneva on Tuesday night. And it is England who will face Italy, who got their own drama going last night with that 90th minute winner. And there are 2 quarterfinals to go, starting tomorrow night as the host Switzerland take on the might of Spain. It's a huge task for them, but they will have that fantastic home support, of course. And on Saturday night, Germany face France. Interestingly enough, both group winners who had a maximum point tally of 9 points, Norway and Sweden, gone out. I don't know if that means anything at all. It's a Nordic exit as well. Jonas, if we're looking for connections there, I mean, it just shows you don't need to have a clean sweep in your group, do you?
No, it's more important to win the last game in the tournament than the first game, definitely. And I also think it shows how small the margins are. It's going to be interesting to see the rest of the quarterfinals. I think Lucy Bronze is right. I think Italy's been good so far in the tournament, while on paper you would say that England are big favourites. It's a game that needs to be played, and arguably it's probably Italy's biggest game in almost modern times in women's football.
With that stat, are you suggesting there's a possibility that Spain could go out then? Because they got maximum points, I don't know.
Just throw that out into the universe.
And then that would mean France.
I don't know. That would be nice.
You're trying to make this really open up, this tournament, aren't you?
Open it up.
But it is great. Having Italy in the semi-final in itself is great, isn't it, for the tournament? It's good having new teams coming in and kind of breaking up the stranglehold of some of the traditional teams.
Yeah, and coming into the tournament, there was lots of people that had them as their dark horses. I think they've given a great account of themselves. They obviously got that opening win. We saw the late winner in the quarterfinal yesterday. And what they are is that they're very hard to beat. They make themselves hard to beat. They play a certain way. They like deliveries from deeper areas. England will have to be aware of that because our backline wasn't good today. So they're not like Sweden. They don't get into the final third and put crosses in. They actually do it from deeper areas with two centre forwards up there. So they play a little bit different to what we've come up against in this tournament. We haven't played against two centre forwards yet. It'll be a different test. And yeah, a test that I'm sure Serena will have a day off before she goes into all the analysing.
You talked about the intensity, even watching in the warm-up. They are intense. They are fit.
Exactly. And yeah, we struggle with that intensity and physicality against France and Sweden. So we need to come flying out the blocks for the game against
semi-final. Yeah, we can all just relax a little bit and breathe.
Thank
but commiserations. I feel like I've said this to you before about Sweden in a major championship, stood close to you, but commiserations for Sweden, because tonight that really was a sucker punch, wasn't it, after such a consummate performance in the first half.
It was, and you feel for, like I said, it was maybe Aslani's last game here, probably Sofia Jakobsson as well, and she misses a penalty, and Petter Gerhardsson going off as a coach, not being able to win that thing. I know that was a big goal for this group, and they really believed in that, and they put everything out on the pitch today. So yeah, it's a tough loss for Sweden, but like Serena said, I think it was an English team that really showed a resilient attitude, and that's going to be good for them for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, however long that is. Will they go all the way to the final? Well, Italy are, of course, in their way, and that is the semi-final next week. My big thanks to you guys tonight for enjoying all of that with us. Jonas, great to see you again. Ellen and Farah, thank you so much. Almost keeping a lid on emotions. I think it just got a kind of away with itself, didn't it, during the penalty shootout, Farah?
Absolutely.
Why not?
My voice is sore. I need a water. I need something.
OK, congratulations to England, congratulations to Serena Wiegman and to Lucy Bronze, whose penalty so brilliantly taken ensured that they make it through to yet another semi-final. Good luck, England.